Hi, welcome. Thank you so much for watching my video. My name is Breezy and I'm a yoga teacher. One of the things that I love doing is yoga off of the mat. Now, even if you've never practiced yoga, the art of introspection, getting to know yourself, being more mindful, intentional, and learning how to ground your energy, raise your vibrations, connect with others is the name of the game. Now, today's video is going to be really fun because we are going to talk about what do you do when your ex wants you back. Now, I'm gonna have a little bit of fun with this, but the reason why I wanted to talk about it is because some of us do not have our sacred space, our boundaries intact, which I've talked about on Love Breezy Bree before. And when someone wants you back and they're showing all this interest in you, you might be a little bit more inclined to just do it, right? But we're going to talk about how to really evaluate a situation like that because I do think it's important and I do think we go back to what's familiar and people want us back and not always for the right reasons, but sometimes it is for the right reason, but you need to be able to discern that. And I'm going to give you some fun, quick tips on how to do that. Okay, so what do you do when your ex wants you? Or what do you do if you want your ex back? I guess we can flip it too. Now, the first thing that is really important is to evaluate where you are in life. How do you feel emotionally, physically, spiritually? If you do not feel aligned in all of those places, it doesn't matter if your ex wants you back, it doesn't matter if a new person wants to date you. I think the work of putting all of that together, mind, body, spirit, is your number one job. Knowing your attachment style, knowing what your triggers are, knowing what your shadow side has lurking in it, doing the work of your life, not trying to expect somebody to make you whole, okay? And then also ask yourself the big why. Why do I even want to be in a relationship? Do I want to be in a relationship because I want to give love and receive love, which obviously is a really good reason, but also super loaded because now we're talking about the word love. Do I want to offer acts of service to another person and also have that back to me? Do I want partnership? And in my opinion, partnership is probably the number one reason why people should get in relationships. They want to come together. They want to create whatever that looks like for them. So let's talk about this a little bit deeper. What do you do to discern if you should get back with your ex or your ex? You want to get back with them or they want to get back with you? Should you do it? What are some of the other things you should do after you do this work that we're discussing? Well, first things first is after you've decided your why, you've taken a deep look at yourself, you've done some meditation, you've done some mindfulness, you've done some journaling, you want to know where they're at, right? And this isn't like a Q&A with them, but it's an observation. It's friendly conversation. It's understanding where they're coming from. It's hearing them talk about their mind, body, spirit connection. What have they learned since you guys have broken up? What have you learned if you're trying to get back with your ex since you guys have broken up? Do you guys match? You know, sometimes we want something and it's just not for us and we're not for them. And I think that's the biggest disservice that you can do to another human, especially since breakups are so traumatic to the heart, to the spirit, you know. So if you're wise enough to discern if you should be back in someone's life or they're back in your life, then you need to ask yourself these questions, because if you don't, then you can end up creating a trauma bond, which we've talked about on Love Breezy Bree. So what I love to do is I love to sit with whoever, whether it's an ex, whether it's a new person, a future person, whatever the case may be. I like to sit with them and I like to figure out where they're at energetically. You know, what do they say? How do they move? You know, what is their connection back to self? What are their practices? What do they do with their time, with their energy, with their money? You know, they say that you can know everything about somebody. All you need to do is look at their bank statement and their calendar, where they spend their money and where they spend their time. And I think that's really important, and I think we do not pay attention to that. We don't even pay attention to that with ourselves. So it is so important that not only do we know where we spend our time and money, but we know what that person's up to. And then we can make that partnership, right? We can fall back into a blissful love, a union, a connection, that beautiful, beautiful love that we all dream of, that intimacy, that vulnerability, that romantic love, that trusting somebody. But we can't get there if we don't understand ourselves. You know, there's something to be said about self-awareness being the most important gift that you can give yourself. And if you do not have sacred space, if you do not know how to create healthy boundaries, what tends to happen is someone just comes into your life, whether it's an ex or a new person, but particularly an ex, because they know you, they can mirror you, they can tell you what you want to hear. You can do the same to them. And those are some very like narcissistic traits, right? Those are a little bit toxic traits when you're like, you know what? I just want this person back. I don't want them with anybody else. I want them back with me. They were the love of my life. Whatever stories you start to tell yourself without going, what is up with them? I want to know what they've been doing. I want to know if I'm a good idea for them, instead of just, oh, I'm just going to make this assumption that I'm the best thing that they've ever had, when in truth, that may not be the case. You may not be the best decision for them. And if you can let somebody be, after you've done the work, after you've evaluated them, after you've had conversations, you've had friendly banter, you've talked about healing, you've talked about what has happened since the breakup, not to mention why you broke up. I mean, come on, let's face it. If you broke up for any reasons that are triggering, traumatic, things that you guys haven't really reconciled, you know, things like cheating, deceit, lying, manipulation, all that kind of stuff, I would have to beg to wonder if the work has been done. Yes, you know, introspection, possibly even counseling, all of that. But if none of that's happened and the person's just telling you, I just want to be with you, you know, I've learned since we've not been together that you are the one, and you just fall back in suit without teaching them healthy boundaries. Like, okay, I hear you. I receive that and I appreciate it. But let me get to know this version of you. And I've learned so much about myself. I've done so much work on myself that I really want to make sure we're good partners for each other, that we're not just in a trauma bond, or we're not just trying to maybe own the other, or, you know, not see the other person with anybody else. And especially if you're the one who's trying to get back with your ex, just ask yourself why. Why? And maybe they're the love of your life. And I so empathize with that feeling of, no, I think I am the best person for them. They're the best person for me. But there is no such thing as that. There is partnership. There is work to be done. There is coming together. There is doing the work, listening, lots of listening. There's alignment. There's grounding. There's creating a safe space and sharing that with another. It is so deep that it shouldn't be taken for granted. And if your ex is someone you have children with, then this work is even more important, because the inspiration, motivation that you have to be back together might be these other human beings. But remember, they are also spiritually designed, and they need their highest vibration to be considered at all times. Love is not selfish. It is not just wanting somebody or not wanting them with anybody else. It is wanting to do the work for them, and you do the work for them by doing the work on yourself. So that is just some quick ideas, quick video, quick tips on my thoughts. There's so much more to come on Love Breezy Bree. You can check out my website, see below. I have a podcast called Yoga Podcast, whether you've practiced yoga or not. I teach you about Yoga 101, how to meditate, and lots of topics like the ones that you're watching here in these videos. And don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell notification, give a thumbs up. I appreciate you.